Hey guys, and welcome to Wrestling Days. Raw last night then was really disappointing. It's going to happen, and I'm certainly feeling a bit more positive this morning than I was last night. I think what really was disappointing was the fact that it came off the heels of such a great Raw. You know, Shane O'Mac coming back, that brilliant Triple H Roman Reigns beatdown. You know, you've got the whole Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, and Brock beating up Ambrose in the parking lot area, backstage area. We just didn't have any of that this week. What we had this week was a Undertaker spot that's been promoted very heavily all week. That was one of the flattest moments, underwhelming moments I can recall. I mean, the guy's entrance felt like it took longer than what he actually said when he got to the ring. Again, when he grabs Vince by the throat, you're thinking, brilliant, we're on here. He is going to turn around and say, you don't control me, or you know, he's going to turn around and say no, basically, I'm not fighting Shane. They could have gone down a few roads with this. Could have chokeslammed Vince. Anything could have happened. But the option they went with was the worst option. He turns around and says, the blood, you know, that will be shed at WrestleMania, Shane's blood, will be on your hands. Are you sure that's what you want? And with that, he was gone. So it kind of feels like it needs explaining as to why Undertaker is doing the dirty work for Vince. Has it always been that way? Are we meant to see Undertaker as a heel now? I don't know whether to boo or cheer him. I mean, I'm always going to want him to win. He's the Undertaker. But I'm struggling now. I think that WWE have taken a red hot storyline and now they're starting to grab fire extinguishers and put it out. Hopefully just a blip, and as I said, I've certainly woken up this morning and feeling a lot more positive about things than I was last night. So Raw opens out with a Triple H promo, gets interrupted by Dean Ambrose. I said last night this felt rushed. Again, just to clarify that, I don't mean the promo was rushed in time, because if anything it was too long. I mean that it felt as though there was no other guys in the locker room that were as over as Dean Ambrose and Triple H, or as high profile as Dean Ambrose and Triple H, or certainly none that don't go by the name of The Undertaker anyway. And it feels as though the company just had to throw them both out there. At this point, you know, Triple H, I mean, if you think, he's the COO, he's the heavyweight champion, he's got a WrestleMania match coming up against Roman Reigns, he looks after NXT. The last thing he needs right now is a title match against Dean Ambrose. So really, when Dean asked the question, Triple H should have just said no. So that pretty bizarre opening promo then went into what was probably the most anticipated match of this week. That was Sasha going up against Becky. High hopes for this match. We know they can both work. We've seen them put on great matches down in NXT. There was a feeling this was going to be a double DQ, double count out, something that was going to result in a draw. What we got was it was a good match, but what we got was probably one of the messier ways of doing it. It was a good match that was in full flow, that was just starting to get warm, and then they appear to just lie on top of each other. I mean, they fell off the turnbuckle and just lay there. What, were they both knocked out? I don't know. But it ended up in a double pin, and so it's been announced that there'll be another match on SmackDown, where I would imagine we'll get another draw, or Charlotte will interfere, or something will happen. This has got triple threat written all over it. As I said, it was one of the highlights of Raw until the finish came, and then it was just bizarre. quite a few matches on this week's Raw, very, very short, not going over more than a couple of minutes. You got Dolph Ziggler going up against The Miz. The Miz picking up a victory, which does he need? Did he need that? I don't think they've got any plans to do anything with either of these guys. So again, just felt like time filler, really. Later on we get Bubba going up against, I think it was Jay. Was it Jay Uso or Jimmy Uso? One of the Usos. Again, I could find out. I don't care enough to do that. So they had they're a tag team. I mean, this is creative for you. They're a tag team, and they've gone, yeah, should we put them in a singles match? Oh, that's genius. Let's do that. That'll be a swerve. They won't expect that. That was probably the biggest shock of the night. The Subway ad, I have to mention it. It feels like Subway maybe gave Vince McMahon a load of money this week, and not only did they get a chance to do that awful segment, that awful backstage. I mean, like, you've got Renee turning around to Natalya saying, "How do you stay so young? How do you look so good?" And Natalya goes, "Well, I work out and keep myself fit, and I eat Subway." No. I can only imagine that Subway just went up to Vince, gave him a load of money, and said, "Look, we would like an advert in the middle of the show, and also we would like to book Monday Night Raw as well, because we think we could probably do a better job than your creative." If you think about it, Triple H beat up Roman Reigns last week, and then this week he got his hands on some fresh meat that was Dean Ambrose, and then beat up Dean Ambrose. So, beat fresh. Some positives though, Lana. Really looking forward to seeing what's coming of her and Brie Bella. I hope it's not a Mania match, because Paige and Naomi in particular deserve to be on that card. But we'll have to see where this is leading. Could it be oh no, it won't be a mixed tag. But could Daniel Bryan be in Brie's corner, Rusev in Lana's? You'd think Bryan will be featured at WrestleMania somehow. I'm sure he'd want to be there. So we'll have to see, and I think that this will be Brie's goodbye match, if indeed it is at Mania. So I thought that was interesting. Ambrose, as we've already spoken about, getting a title fight. It was later announced that he will face Triple H. I honestly don't think they put the title on him. They could. It wouldn't be the huge surprise it would have been a week or two ago. I don't think they do it, because I think they're still going to stick with the plan that Roman walks out of WrestleMania with the belt. But I think that whilst Roman's off injured, recovering from the surgery, and there's no Rollins, there's no Cena, they've got Brock only for a couple of dates, they'll have Undertaker only for a couple of dates. I mean, I was amazed Shane McMahon wasn't there this week. It seems like he's on some kind of part-time contract as well. Although, in all fairness, he has got other businesses that he's, dealing with. But I just think they need something to fill time. And how terrible is that on the road to WrestleMania, with 5 weeks less to go now, they are having to find matches to fill time. I mean, this week we had Stephanie McMahon came out and did a promo on her own. Vince McMahon came out and did a promo on his own. Granted, to introduce The Undertaker, but I'm fairly sure that Steph and Vince could have done that together. This was on top of Triple H's promo at the start of the show, on top of what felt like a full recap of last Raw. There was that many clips of it. It meant there was no time for matches. And so I think we had 8 or 9 matches, and near enough every single one was just a couple of minutes. With the exception of AJ and Jericho, and I am so not into this AYJ2J, whatever it might be, Y2AJ. I'm not into it. I want AJ to be going for singles titles. I want him to be showing off what he can do, not standing on the apron for half of the match that he's in. You know, he's beat Jericho. He should be moving on. I honestly don't understand. Is it because are they trying to get a triple threat? Are we going to see League of Nations, the New Day, and Y2AJ in a triple threat at Mania? I could go with that. I wouldn't hate that, but I'd want to see AJ in a singles match more. Rusev body slam challenge. So he comes on Twitter. He says, "Check out tonight. I've got a big announcement. People are getting giddy. All right, he's going to get married at WrestleMania or something along those lines." No. He then issues a video saying, "Anyone that can body slam me tonight, you're going to get this car." Yeah. Match comes along. League of Nations against Luchas, and no mention of it. Nothing happened. You know, like, this got a lot of hype on the internet. Were they trying to swerve us? Are they trying to get us to look forward to things now and tune in for things that aren't even going to happen? Is WrestleMania actually happening? If Rusev tells me it is, I won't believe him. It was crazy. I honestly thought this was going to be the build to a good feud. Get someone new on the roster, or get someone out that's not been exposed, like Bray Wyatt. Get Bray Wyatt out there. Get him to slam Rusev. Turn the Wyatt family face. I don't care. Just anything would have been better than what we got, which was literally nothing. Shane McMahon back next week anyway. And there's no way Raw next week can be as bad as this. I mean, this was really, as I said, promos, recaps, 2-minute matches. They won't do that again. They can't. They're running out of time. So I'm a lot more optimistic about next week. I don't think WrestleMania is ruined by any means. I just think it didn't develop. I'm interested to see what happens with this Ambrose Triple H match. And it could be interesting to see Lana compete in the ring. I'm pleased they're doing something with her. Outside of that, there's really nothing to take away. If you've not had a chance to watch Raw, do it. Check it out. If you don't get time, don't worry about it, honestly. It's worth bearing in mind as well that in the UK, Raw airs 1 o'clock in the morning, finishes at 4 if it overruns. I think this week it went on to about 20 past, 4:30. That makes it even harder. So when I'm doing my initial reaction videos, bear that in mind. Thanks for watching. As I said, it will be better next week. I'm sure of it. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter. That is at Wrestling Days UK. And drop your comments as to what you thought about Raw, or if there's any other bits that you wanted to talk about. And I'll have another video again for you soon. Thanks for watching.